Good morning, good morning, good morning. What's up? It's to be ABGO. Oh, look at that. Yo, ABGO. Making nice moves up to the upside here. Like to see a bigger move, but I mean, that's pretty good. Yeah, so it looks like, and we'll talk about this here in just a second. All right. So actual 678 forecasted. Oh my God, we beat big time. But let's see what that has to do or what that does to the market. I was talking about bouncing today. The bounce yesterday at the end of the day might be what we see here today. Although a lot of things look short, maybe we see some pullbacks and then retests. So, good morning. What's up? Happy Friday, everybody. Good morning. Thanks for the roses, man. I appreciate that. Thank you guys for the likes. We'll give it one more minute here. I'm going to go ahead and get started. We're going to go over the news. Got a lot to talk about. Manny and Atlas would like to be on, so. Ukraine tells IAEA that the fire at the site of the nuclear power plant has not affected essential equipment, plant personnel taking mitigatory actions. I didn't know that's a word. To be honest with you. Yeah, stocks are moving higher after better than expected job data for the month of February. What's up? Good morning. Hello from Ukraine. Are you serious? Red crab ice? Are you serious? Man. Yeah, Atlas will be on today. Yeah. We'll have everybody. Shush. Ugh. A little creepy. Sound is coming out a bit low on YouTube. How's that? A little bit better? Point the mic in my actual direction. Good morning, good morning, good morning. What's up? Are you talking about equity long term? Everybody hear me okay? Sound check. Good morning. Any thoughts on VA? Gap down. That was as expected, but you've gapped down to support. So BA gap fill to the upside, 188.80 could be a good scalp. Considering that you've gapped down, anytime you gap down, like if I'm bearish, I want to gap up on some bullshit. Just to put it straight, I want something that doesn't really matter to quote unquote affect the market and cause it to gap up. Therefore, there's a gap to fill down. But on the other side, I want to see a gap down if I'm looking for a potential bounce, obviously within reason. Alrighty, let's go ahead and get started, guys. Let's go over the news, go over futures.
how do I see the nuclear plant tension making a difference on TD options? Are you talking about, what do you mean TD options? Like TD Ameritrade? Um, today. I'm not quite sure if that, I think the overall sentiment is negative, but I mean, as far as it affecting the market, I think it just adds more fuel to the fire. So that's really about it. Alrighty, everybody on? Good morning. Good morning. Alrighty, everybody. So Wall Street futures did fall, and this is quote unquote we are talking about. Um, as investors fretted over rapidly evolving tensions between Russia and Ukraine. Obviously, bombing a nuclear power plant is escalating things. European stocks sank on reports of the nuclear power plant on fire amid fierce fighting between Ukraine and Russian troops. Um, 1 second. Um, Shares in Asia also slumped. The euro fell versus the dollar as the war in Ukraine lowered expectations of European economic growth. Palladium extended gains as concerns grew about the shortfalls from Russia, while safe haven gold held firm. Oil rose in a volatile session as fears over disruption to Russian oil offset exports. The prospect of more Iranian supplies in the event of a nuclear deal with Tehran. So, what's up? What's up, Power Pennants? That's a cool name. Futures cut loss on good. So, well, we're gonna let me finish. No. Obviously, job data has just came in, and so far, if you take a look at futures, or if you just take a look at SPY, it is nearly closed the gap as it was gapped down around 430. It has nearly closed the gap. So still always when yesterday I gave you guys that target 445, it likely be, which is the gap, that is still within reach. And if we decide to rocket to the upside or some, I don't know, something, of course we're trading in very volatile times. One headline could turn your entire portfolio over, or all of your positions over. So um, fire has been put out at the European biggest nuclear power plant after the battle obviously caused that shelling. Everything is operating normally, and of course they're taking precautions going forward. So solid U.S. job gains and for excuse me, I already went over that. Biden is to boost Made in America goods as Siemens adds factory jobs. U.S. President Joe Biden on Friday will announce requirements for the government to buy more Made in America goods at the White House events, where Germany Siemens will commit to new investments in U.S. manufacturing. That was like not a very flowy sentence right there. Pressure grows on Biden to ban U.S. imports on Russian oil. The bipartisan group of U.S. senators introduced a bill on Thursday to ban U.S. imports of Russian oil, saying the shipments could not be replaced by boosting output in North America and other such places. Good morning. Good morning. Um, so U.S. investors may be in a rush to dump Russian assets, of course, after Western allies hit Moscow with sanctions. Um, a couple of this one, and it's a weird headline, but I found it kind of interesting. But there's a few hedge fund managers that are putting themselves and saying that they have smaller exposure to Russia, but they're not reacting. Which I don't know what RSX is at right now. It didn't fall anymore. Um, Looks like it's at a bottom. It's kind of trying to hold, but um,
Other than that, earnings, we had Broadcom, AVGO, the chip company on Thursday, forecast second revenue above Wall Street estimates as the back of the strong, on the back of strong demand from enterprise and cloud clients and the ramp up in 5G technology. Broadcom forecast current quarter revenue at about 7.9 billion compared to the analyst average estimate of 7.4 billion. Broadcom's chief financial officer, Kirsten Spears, told analysts that the company's hardware had an order backlog of over 25 billion at the end of the quarter compared to 22 billion in the previous quarter. Yeah, Russian stocks will be a play when things cool down. Costco, the company beat Wall Street estimates for quarterly revenue and profits on Thursday as consumers returned to the stores, bought more groceries, and splurged on high margin items such as jewelry and home furnished goods. Comparable sales excluded the impact of fuel and currency fluctuations, jumped 11 point comparable sales, excuse me, it jumped 11.1% in the second quarter, compared with a estimates of a 8.74% rise. Total revenue was about 16% to 51.90 billion in the second quarter from a year earlier. Gap, the company on Thursday, last night, forecast 2020 earnings above estimate, betting on a strong demand for Old Navy and Athleta clothing brands as Americans return to office and social events thanks to declining Omicron cases. Gap forecast fiscal 2022 adjusted earnings per share between $1.85 and $2.05, above estimates of $1.86. It also expects to benefit from the tie-ups with Walmart to sell home goods and with rapper Kanye West to launch new styles. You're gonna get some styles out of Kanye, that's for sure. All of those companies are up in pre-market, and that includes Gap, which we did take a little gamble on. So if you swing, you can't. If they expire today, oof, yeah, don't swing weeklies. That's it. Especially after Wednesday, if you just say no and go out till next week, it's probably like the best thing ever that you could do. mRNA gapped down. Any thoughts? Are we pushing down or filling up first? We'll take a look at that. I'll go over that in just a second. Coinbase, Binance has no plans to ban all Russians from using their platforms. And 1 second, I need to go take a peek. The upgrades, downgrades. Marvel, it's not. Raymond James downgrades to market perform from outperform. Zynga got a downgrade to neutral from buy. Let's see. Looks like a lot of downgrades. There's some upgrades right there. Tilray got a price upgrade, and TTWO got a $200 price upgrade. Neither of these firms are extremely recognizable, but it's worth keeping in mind. So no major upgrades or no major downgrades as far as I can see today. It is Friday, so there's no earnings. All of our data has come out, so I'm not quite sure if we're going to see any talking today. I know that the EU is holding an emergency meeting right now, so tensions are still high, and I think right now we're going to find out whether we see the job data or the sentiment or the
overall sentiment from the conflict going on right now rule the day. So, good morning. Good morning. Thoughts on SoFi announcement on saving money paired with their ER? I'd have to read a little bit more about that to kind of like develop an opinion. All right, so really quickly, my watch list. Check out my long ramble written it. Jack, I did read that. I thought that was an excellent write. We might have to talk about getting you on a newsletter, dude. You got like you got a golden pen over there. For real. I love your write-ups. They're great. Um, so the watch list today, Snapchat, Head and Shoulders, sitting above the gap, target 33.30. It's about as straightforward as that. This one has not gapped down. And if you are in any downside positions, I would recommend just cutting if it breaks above 36.75. If you're in something similar to me, obviously, whatever your risk management allows, but there's always resistance to go and hit before it's all said and done. So, me personally, I still see the market. It's still trending down right now. I'm watching US 30 kind of reject and looking like it's going to go and hit this 33 um, 300 right here, possibly even continue to the downside. But regardless, we've got Snapchat on the watch list. Gap, which we took a little earnings play on, we'll see how that played out. So that one's going to be on the watch list today, more or less just to see if it goes continues to the upside or the downside. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice. I think not today. Nope, nope. Giving my voice back. So sorry. INTC, this one had the rising wedge. We talked about this yesterday. So far, it has set up to continue to the downside, but you guys know the deal. I'm not a big fan of gap ups, or gap downs when I'm bearish, which you would think, why not? Because the initial move is up. Now, INTC is sitting on top of a gap, 47.41. And my first instinct is that this is going to go up first. That being said, if we break over this point of control, that's 48.50, I'm out. And the reason being is because I think everybody is looking down. And for some reason, I feel like they might prop it up. And I did, like on Facebook, which is on the watch list today as well. I did call out the pop at the end of the day that I was expecting. We did get that pop. And so the unfortunate thing is we didn't really get much follow through. But SPY has gapped down to about 431. It did pop up on job data, but I'm personally thinking that we could go fill this gap on SPY 435.36. I have a resistance set, and that's going to be at 436.25, 436.50. So somewhere in that range. And means that we're going to have to be patient. So if we get a rejection, I, I think that we'll go and continue to the downside. The most bearish possibility is that we open up flat, right at open, and so there's no gap to fill. But anyway, below 430, we could continue to see stocks sink and drop down to the 428 level. Facebook. So this one, if you are in Facebook, I'm not too sure if this has like a channel or something like that. It did gap down, and it is at support. So if you go and draw a key level right here, 1, 2, 3, this is right before we flushed. And I am expecting the same type of behavior, but we have 1, 2, and this is technically, you could say this is the third tap of resistance, but it's not inside of the question to go hit it again, and that's 206.45. So if you're in any downside positions, set a exit that you know you're going to cut at so that you can play it up or wait until it picks a definitive direction. But anyway, Facebook has a small gap. That gap could get filled. The first target to the upside is 203.85. So I have uranium shares. Um, yeah, SPY has a gap down there. Wait, you're talking about up or down? Oh, that's right. So SPY does have the gap down first. Hmm. Okay. Well, then I would be watching for a bounce at 428.15. But regardless, it all depends on where we open, and we still have a over 30 minutes until the bell. So you guys have plenty of time to start mapping out what you want to do for the day and what you need to see broken in order to take the trade. Because think back at the last couple of weeks or months of performance on Friday and tell me how you've done. Or don't tell me, but tell yourself. And that should be your leading indicator on whether or not you should be sitting at your desk all day. Enjoy your day. It is Friday. And then at the end of the day, right? Oftentimes you can catch a little bit of volatility as people sell off their stocks before the end of the week or whatever. If we don't break range, then I'm not trading and I'm going to go ahead and hop off. Or I will just sit and answer as many questions as you guys want in the Discord. So, um, but anyway, so we could fill the gap and chop is basically the majority of what I'm saying here. So, but anyway, INTC, we're still short on that one. Facebook, again, we could retest that 203, or excuse me, 204. We'll just call it 204. A two break above 204, and I'm banking on hitting that 206 level. All right, so we got Snap, Facebook, INTC. Um, I did want to point out a couple of different setups. By the way, somebody asked me about Square yesterday. Square is literally at the literal cent mark, 112.08 that I called for yesterday. So, one thing that I noticed for those of you with smaller accounts is that Starbucks, right here, has a relatively decent setup on the hourly. Really, really clean. What looks to be a baby bear flag forming right now. So currently, looks like we got a third wave potentially, and we also have a gap to the downside. So that will be the last thing on my watch list. Um, 1 second, those of you guys here on TikTok, I gotta take this phone call. I'll be right back. Hello.
Sorry about that.
My fiance's at Target right now, so you know. All right. Yeah, yeah. I'm basically already losing money today. Do you know why it's blurry? Let me. How's that? Yeah. Well, when they sell like 19 different things for your shower, convenience things like you don't we don't need a chair for the tub. Okay, just sit on the floor. Is it good? Okay, stream's good. Cool. All right, and then last one on the watch list today, mRNA. Yeehaw! Wow. So that worked. And if you guys can see right here, I love TA, but it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. I don't know why it doesn't work. As you can see right here, by this nice little projection that I put out, it's just not working. But anyway, I expect the gap to fill upside, and then I expect a rejection, and then the gap to fill downside. Or I expect the gap to fill downside, and then the gap to fill upside. And you have two things to watch out for. If you're in a downside position, obviously this gap is 138.37 and the gap closes at 136.22. There's not much room there for you to trade. You're going to end up hoping. Now, I do have the ultimate target on mRNA of 134. That's my target. And that has a lot to do with the setup that I've drawn here. Which I'm going to delete these lines because it's a little messy. So there's your resistance and there's your support. So I'm imagining that we will see 133, 134. So good morning, good morning. We're like validating the earnings on target. Yeah, I know. That's really what I should be doing. I should be buying shares of Target every time, one share of Target every time she goes to Target. I think that's no, I would probably have way too much Target. It would just be too much. I'd be lost in Target shares. If that company ever went over, Russia launches war at Target. Camera one, camera two. I got camera one on YouTube. You can see my face if you want it. But you would got you. If you can't see what I'm doing, make sure to hit the link in my bio. Hop on Discord. I found that this angle, you guys can see my screen, but I can't read your comments. I would rather be able to like see your comments and then answer your questions and then have you guys be able to look at your own charts. So and that's probably better for you to be marking out the chart levels that I'm giving you, rather than just seeing me do it and then just not doing it yourself. So global markets right now, everything is red. Yeah, it's kind of wishful thinking to think it's going to go up, but we gotta let the market let it tell us. Discord, do y'all have any
stocks you want me to take a look at for you? What do I think of Ford? If you guys are here on TikTok and you want me to take a look at a stock for you, hop. All I'm asking is that you just sub to the YouTube and then drop it in the comment section on YouTube, so that way I can see it and then kind of chronologically go about it. So, I got a request for Airbnb, so we'll take a look at that really quickly. It's 9:04. I think Manny should be on here in a second. I don't know if he said he wasn't trading today. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, but that is ooh, ooh, my goodness. That looks pretty juicy. You got a pretty gnarly rejection off the top. Um, Basically like a double top almost. Lower time frame head and shoulders. You got a 5 minute head and shoulders break, which you've already broken. So now you're at 149. That would have been a great short yesterday. Um, so from here, and what I'm looking for right now is I'm looking to see whether or not Airbnb continues down or if its initial move is up to fill the gap. And it looks like it likes to fill its gap. So I would warn for a gap fill, but ultimately, I think this goes lower, especially looking at this pullback here and what I would perceive to be as regardless of the double top, almost like a bear flag has but you can actually ignore this hourly candle that's called seeing through the noise, and you can see a trend line right there, and which it has broken. So drop those requests on the YouTube link is in my Linktree bio. So if you guys have any requests, and if you guys have any questions in the Discord, guys, like anything, ask please. Well, that looks like a big mess. All right, so Disney looks like it's in a big old triangle. It's getting close to support. I'm gonna say Disney 142.80. Watch for a bounce there. From there, you see this trend line there. You want to hold that trend line, and you would want to go and try and make a break for the upside. Otherwise, we could see and could bank on Disney continuing to the downside, possibly, as it does have more targets at 127.88 for gap fill. So it's a mess. Morning. Good morning, my boy. That's okay. I actually went to bed really early last night, which was 12 o'clock. So wow, that's late for me. That's late for you? Wow. Damn. Old man over there, dude. Old man, I'm sorry, bro. So people are like, so I was just literally, I just sat down. I took long because like wherever I was gonna go, I sat down and was like, oh, we don't have coffee. I was like, that's like that's the worst in the morning. I feel like I have coffee in my outside what do you call it? But I had to grind it and all that. But whatever, it's already made. So just real quick before I get started, I was talking to so I have a friend of mine. He's a very good like trader in the sense of technical, and
he trades with big money or whatever. But this guy is a complete ape when it comes to how option markets work and how he has no idea why the market just keeps whiplashing so aggressive. So I put him through pretty much of the PowerPoint that I'm working for my workshop. He looked at it and he understood, but he's still a bit confused. He says that he feels that there's a bit more information for someone who doesn't really know from zero. So I decided to push back the workshop to the end of the month because I'm just gonna load that thing up with knowledge at this point. If we're gonna just go like this all out, I'm gonna load it up. If it's a 5 hour workshop, it's a 5 hour workshop. I don't really care how long it takes. I just want people to understand like what the hell is happening internally in the market. Why are we getting these whiplashes? Why is it that we had really bad news last night and the market literally almost filled its gap overnight? And that's what I want to explain. I'm going to teach all this like to you guys in general because it's honestly one of the most useful knowledge that I have ever used, which is trading with gamma and keeping an idea of what second order Greeks do. Now, moving on to the market. I mean, what happened overnight was not a surprise to me at all.
Yeah.
You were talking. I'm sorry to cut you off, bro.
No, you're good, dude. I you gotta remember, dude. I got ADHD. I totally forgot. I'm listening to you now, dude. That's what we're doing.
All right. So gamma levels are still positive. The more the gamma model goes positive, the more that the market makers need to, reduce to offset their position. This is what's happening now, right? The market dropping and gamma model being positive, needing to drop, it correlates together and it shows us that that is what's happening. Again, going back to why we're getting these info fills up, I said this a lot of times why they're happening. They're just hedging themselves. Part of the game is how the dealer remains neutral. Remember, the dealer is supposed to be a neutral person in the market. They're not trying to profit, they're just supposed to provide liquidity. That's their whole job. So, with that being said, looking at the market, today's risk off for me personally. I'm not going to trade today. I have a gold long that I have been holding since yesterday. I'm not going to cut it yet. I have a profit target that no. And with that said, again, I'm not really looking to trade anything. I mean, I see Tesla. Tesla had that little washout last night with everything else, and then the gap is pretty much stuck in the middle of it. I mean, we can look at Nvidia, probably the same exact chart. Yeah. Boeing is just stuck there. Boeing is getting into my buy zone as always. I tell you guys, I always like to accumulate Boeing below 180. So you guys already know below 180, I'm going to be a buyer for my long term portfolio. I have already about 400 something shares of Boeing, so I want to keep buying more the more I can. It's one thing about Boeing that I like to tell people: Boeing is the pride of the U.S. When probably hear that, you're like, what the fuck is this guy saying? Excuse my language if your kids are around. But it's literally what it is. So right. So Boeing is the company of the U.S. If you guys look at what was happening during COVID and everything, bro, they were giving Boeing contracts just for Boeing being like normal. They were like, okay, yo, here's a $5 million contract.
But
Here's
you know what? That same thing, I think that causes lax, and they bleed so much cash because of it. Because if they would stop bleeding cash, they would be like
yeah,
the real life like pride of
yeah,
America. Like it would be not just a mental thing; it would be a real thing. Like
yeah. But it's with everything. There's something, what entity that is supported by the government it runs well.
yeah,
Do I have to say the biggest one? Do I have to be the guy that says it? Gary, you're lying. I'm gonna get the FBI knocking on my door. Come on, the IRS.
yeah,
They,
yeah.
they get paid by the government, and that's one of the most unorganized companies I have ever seen in my life. I promise you this. Whoever thinks the IRS is organized, no idea. You have no idea how bad they are.
I mean, they can't even take phone calls, dude.
No,
Straight up.
it's super, super unorganized. I have not seen that documentary on Boeing. If you can send me the title, I'm gonna look for it later. But I didn't even know there was one. I'll check it out. Yeah, that bird with the yellow beak, that's one of the ones that kills. Yeah, late. So going back to it, that's basically where we're at. Like I see everything. I mean, I can tell you guys a rejection on Tesla, but what is it going to be worth at this point? I don't have a problem really telling you guys. I would say Tesla maybe 845. rejection more or less. 840, 845 looks like a decent rejection to pop up at the open, but again, we're still running into the risk of the market just ripping because of market makers hiding themselves and whatnot. So risk off day, not looking to trade. Also, we want to talk about real quick about the NFP report. Did all you guys get to see the report?
Yeah.
Dude, it was decent. I can't say I wasn't expecting it, right? But it's nice to see that gold did not care about it.
Yeah.
Because a positive report, gold should have dropped. Since it didn't drop, again, it tells us there are bigger hands in play for the movement of gold. Not just, it's not used no more. That's
Oh,
over.
BT said he was kidding. Oh my god. I charted Nicola for you. Do you know do you know what that did to me? Do you know what I've done?
I didn't need the PTSD.
Oh
But,
god.
but with that being said, guys, I think it's going to be maybe a range day. If we get a washout, it's going to be interesting to see. But I think we're just going to be a bit rangy and whatnot. Any upside movement again, I'm not convinced by it. I'm sorry. At this point, I'm just not biased anymore. I just the charts, nothing in the charts point to movement up. Like for example, you guys know how sometimes there's levels that you're like, no, if the Bulls reclaim this, like this is gonna be sick. If they and let me pull up my spy chart so I can talk the contact. Well, you look at some levels and you're like, damn, if the Bulls get to reclaim this, like this is gonna be so good. There's gonna be a nice reversal. And anytime we get to a level like that, which can be the 20-day EMA and SMA, the 200-day EMA or SMA, we just keep rejecting it every time, over and over and over and over. So I'm sorry, there's no reason for me to be bullish. There's nothing that tells me that we're gonna reverse and the micro time or the macro time.
Do
There's so
you
much
think
shit going on.
job data could create upside liquidity for more downside?
Uh, You
Because
know why I don't think so? Because of just by how gold did. Bro, gold, NFP and gold is like a cat and a dog.
I feel like gold's gonna dig its heels in while stocks could stay volatile too at the same time. That just on a like as far as short term, like today, I don't see any reason for the market to break up, but I do see a reason to fake people out. And so by like right now, I'm looking at the setups, and all of them are kind of convening on the same. I'm getting the same consensus is that gaps that were small gaps that we were below have gotten filled from yesterday. And then that leaves now gaps to the upside. So I think the initial move is up, but I
Yeah.
think we're red on the day. So like
Yeah, yeah.
I guess that was a weird way to agree, but I agree with you.
In another foreign language, we're gonna put the gaps in reverse.
Exactly. Yeah, that was how a normal person would have said it.
Yeah.
But
Oh
um,
no, I see that. It could be a possible thing to, we can just run up and then reject. But just one of those days, man. I mean, when I was literally well, we were on a call last night when everything started happening,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah. We were literally that was.
I was like, yo, the Dow is falling.
Gold is ripping.
Let's see where we get to. I'm still gonna be working on this. I have to make the announcement that I'm pushing back the workshop a bit. But part of me doesn't want to do it, but I can't sit there and just give a half-ass workshop. That's
No,
not
that
productive.
no. I mean, if you're gonna, I did the same thing with a couple of things. Yeah. I'd rather put out something great
Yeah.
than something
Next week,
shit.
stuff.
Yeah. Um, I don't know if you want. Do you want to mention the the possible F FX venture since we have a
Oh yeah, yeah. So we're actually thinking not right now, but we're thinking of integrating simple stacks and adding another side of it,
yeah
which would be the FX side.
yeah
I'm debating if just doing FX or taking our futures chat and just going full futures,
yeah
right? And adding the unregulated broker aspect of futures as well. Because FX, the reason why I say no, like to doing FX like this, I mean, if trust me, if there are you guys that want to learn and you guys are okay being up at 3 in the morning, I'll do it. I don't have a problem waking up. If you just rather trade U.S. indices future because this is what you can do at night or something, like that's completely acceptable.
Well, that's because nobody is doing it. Sorry, not you. I was answering somebody.
Yeah, John. That's why it's pretty much dead. The only futures traders here is really me and Plunger.
Yeah.
And it was Plunger before me. I got in a bit late, but going back to it, if you guys would like to get into FX, I don't care. I'll literally explain to you guys what FX is. It's the easiest thing to really trade. Look, straight up, saying it right now, FX is super easy.
It's
Straight up,
it's
super
it's
super.
it's good to learn too, just
Yeah.
regardless. Like I was talking about yesterday, we don't need to be only aware of how options work. The more we
Yeah,
know,
look,
the better
look
we trade.
how every market is moving. I look, I do. It might sound crazy. I literally look at every market, everything. I look at how
Um,
everything's moving overnight. I look at okay, how did Europe look? I have news like coming into my email from Europe. My phone's never like just okay.
uh, I don't know if this guy is watching, but one, I'm about to block you, but um, no, I shouldn't have bought DWAC. And between, I'm sorry, but at the moment, uh, I don't know. I mean, maybe I shouldn't say this. I would say that if you think that DWAC is a good investment, that I can't, I would say that your likelihood of being a successful investment is not good because you're in your feelings and not in reality. So, and that's just the best way I could put it. Also, normal people don't address other men as little boy. So, that's probably not the way that you would. Eric Fromm. Your name's Eric.
When DWAC's inventory gets released, because when you understand how inventory works and you see DWAC's charts, you understand that there is something coming and something big.
Right.
When you look at that, you're gonna realize that this is one of the most manipulated stocks ever. And I promise you this. And listen, I agree with everybody. This guy Trump can make you money with moves, but I will say you this: Trump will take your money like it doesn't matter. He will dump the whole company on you like it doesn't matter.
And that's not political. That is just
It's the
based
fact.
on historical data. We know this. He is a
Listen, yeah,
businessman, and the business realities of today are. I mean, look at people. They start pharmaceutical companies or drink companies, energy drink companies to pump the stock, dump the stock, get rich quick, and dip. Imagine starting a whole drink company, hiring graphic designers. You don't really give a shit. You just want to make it look cool, just so that you can pump a stock, which happens all the time. And I mean, it used to happen more, but um, yeah, everybody has an incentive, I'm sure. Hell yeah, he probably is looking at that stock price. He's probably like rubbing his hands together. He's like, let's get it.
but yeah, that's pretty much it. Again, I'm gonna be working on the workshop. We're thinking of that integration. It's gonna be nice. But just to go back real quick, FX it's all about time zones, right? You're not gonna trade GBP, right? A GBP pair. You guys know what GBP is? You know the Queen, all hell the Queen, King
Mm-hmm.
Crumpet, England, right? And then you have a pair like that. You're not gonna trade that shit at 9:30 in the morning. You're gonna trade USD pairs because that's when their session is open. You're gonna trade GBP at 3 in the morning when London opens, right? It's things like that. But FX is all technical. Go look at a chart. I promise you. Go look at JPY. Look at it, analyze it, chart it. It's the most easiest thing to ever trade. What makes it hard that you have to sit there for 2 hours to get a move that we can get in futures in like 15 minutes or in options in two.
Yeah.
And look, I worked my way down. I promise you that. I started in FX. I went to options, and then now I'm in futures just because I just want something that pays the same as options but respects my fucking stop loss quicker. Like I'm just tired of being wired to my screen, if I can really be honest. Yeah, or even days. I agree with you, bro. Yeah, I have had trades back then that I would take into like the other, just consistently into the other session.
Yo, that emoji is not okay. Um, will the integrated cost of print?
We haven't shows right now. Right now, I think that I mean we have 7 admins. A ton of people helping option flow. So I mean, like we're gonna have to think about it. We haven't, but we want to talk about having that side, and I mean we want to do the same thing with crypto. And the only thing is, it's just having it out available is helpful education wise. Having it all in one place, but then at the same time we have people who are investing in so many different ways. And sometimes the option market isn't great. Sometimes it's better to be somewhere else. Um, but that's we'll be talking and figuring that out in the future even more. So, um, that photo, is that a real photo of him? Why does that look not real?
Yeah, no, it doesn't look real.
It's like a video game. That sweater looks like a video game.
Let me,
All my premium are fading before the bell. What are you in?
excuse me.
Your premium should not be moving. Why don't we do what? If I had to choose between one, which two would I pick? Standard deviation or Fibonacci? That's fucked up.
Today,
I mean, it has that answer. I couldn't answer that without you asking me what I was trying to do. Because if I was long term investing, I don't need fibs. I need standard deviation. If I'm scalping or day trading, I'll take my standard deviation channel or my fibs. Or I'll take Manny's fibs, not my fibs. My fibs are doo doo.
things are crazy, bro.
Fibs are crazy. Yeah, they are crazy.
I was asked if I believe in Wyckoff's theory today.
Oh
I responded, "You mean Dickoff's?"
my god, Manny.
Just because, in all retrospect, no effect. Where is Atlas here? Because I know he uses all that.
The white cough.
Yeah, if
Yeah.
he's here and he heard me, yeah. I'm not a big fan of what's the other one, Garrett? There's another one. The wave theory, that one, I'm not a big fan of that.
So there's Elliott wave, there's Fibonacci, there's standard deviation, uh and then the Wyckoffs. I personally don't feel like anybody should ever have to put like be no, I'm sorry. No, I don't think that the Wyckoff, like people saying it was with Bitcoin. Okay,
Saying alien.
how'd that work out? I listen. By the time you start to think it looks like a Wyckoff, everyone else has too, and it's changing the dynamic of the setup. I personally think that I'm sure that there's some places where it's applicable, but I have never once in my career ever found that useful. If you find it, and that's the beauty of this, is if it works for you, do it. If it's, and by working means that it's profitable, but if it works for you, rock it. But I think when people start sharing that kind of stuff, they just want to be right. Like when
Yeah,
when
yeah,
Bitcoin was just dumping, I think everybody just wanted to be right about where it was going to bounce and what it was going to do. And I was like, like,
you're,
huh?
you were like, you're an ape. Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think that was like the consensus.
that's the,
Gap up, gap down, moving back up.
yeah, going up. What is there news coming out? What happened to Tesla? Or is this, because they always do this, but they move it into like rejection
Oh my
testing,
God, it's 9:28. How'd that happen?
right? And then they wash out of the open. That shit's annoying.
Shit, I didn't.
Tesla, if anything, let's do the short, guys. Below 8. God, I said I was going to trade. Below 825. And if we get that short, we're going to move this to 820s. We'll take some off the table. And if 820s, flush easily, we're going to use 806 as our target for our runners. Okay. Okay.
Okay. Start a drink company and pump it. Okay. Yeah. if the market does fall, go look at any stock that had earnings, and you could watch for a potential pullback on them. If it's not a crazy gap. Why am I watching Tesla? All right. Remember, again, it's Friday. It's Friday. If that didn't ruin your day, I don't, or make you not want to trade, I don't know what will. So.
All right, go back at 1950. Let's go.
Did Apple just do that? Oh no, it didn't. Okay.
I paid $3 to swing gold.
Damn. Damn.
Yeah, you have to pay swap fees. If you swing, you gotta pay.
You're gonna pay.
Somebody said like take a risk. It's funny, like the broker basically says like you're a menace, so they're like no. Somebody gotta take a risk.
All right, we're about to be lit.
Out of this on Tesla to fake people out and then just drop it like a top.
I don't know. I think
everybody.
I think they might jerk the market around a little bit. Okay, so unusual. Nice. Snap has a gap to the downside now and a bear flag. Watch for Snap to fill this little gap 38,580. MRNA did open up at yesterday's close. Watch this one to fill the gap 137, and there's a target, I would say 134. What was that on Snap? Snap has a gap to fill at 35.80 to the downside, fill that gap, and then it has a little bear flag. Right now it's pushing up, looking to go and it's already retesting a key level that's right here, 36.80. Square, I don't know what happened there at the bell, but that thing just gapped up. Facebook is bouncing. This thing looks like it has an hourly flag.
So not Tesla, guys. All right, just wait till we get our doubles. Not rush into things. So we eat.
Everybody's thinking down, so.
You are gonna get in early. Then we got to let it do what it do. Right? I should say about 8:50. Look at the see if there's any sellers. I see some on the queue, but I want to see right when the level hits. I saw roughly about 4,000 shares in the queue.
So Facebook is doing exactly what I talked about, guys. It's bouncing straight up. Watch Facebook above 206.75. GPS is moving to the upside as well. If you're in contracts to the upside, you can cut the put or hang on to it because it's obviously not that much. Go ahead, Manny.
NVIDIA completed its gap fill. Apple is about to.
If Facebook, which it looks like it might, hits 206 or 207, at that point at all, if it would have to totally reverse, and that's what I would be looking for. If you hedged yourself yesterday, which you should have, on whatever it is that you were in, that's probably coming in handy. If you guys take a look at my screen on the hourly at Snapchat, this is a great look for what we're trying to take. So I'm going to add another one. Not weeklies.
This is moving. Oh my God! Go this flying. Let's go. Where's DJ?
Oh yeah, it is. Where's DJ? Give me your hand.
Where's DJ?
Let me buckle up your helmet. That's good. Let's messing with you, DJ. So Snapchat, March 11th. Could just do a $35 put here. I'm gonna take a March 11th $35 put here. I'm adding one. I already have positions, so
Bro, let's go. Gold, oh, let's go.
GPS has a gap to the downside, and it is currently pushing. So if you're in any positions, you could utilize which. Yo, dude, it's like a brimstone.
Yeah, I'm not. I promise you, you guys know I get in early to things. I promise you, I have not built the Tesla in case anybody got in early. This thing is doing that little game that I hate. I'm gonna wait for it to go to pre-market lows. There's no reason for me to go in right now.
There's no sound on YouTube.
No hay sonido en YouTube. Our spy is going red. Wants to go for that pre-market low. 430. Once we flush out 430, that's where we're gonna get our next
Oh,
buy.
shit.
Who was the one that said SPY was going to all times high?
Not me. No, guys, don't. It's okay on INTC. Go look at the hourly. It's got to go fill the gap.